Howdy. Welcome to Ausgrave Gaming. I am Justin. Kind of in here with a different kind of video for the channel. Obviously, this is not a gameplay video. As you can tell from the title, this is going to be about FF16, my unapologetically subjective rants and comments about it. I just finished the game. This won't be a review. Other people have done that to death. And this won't be like very in-depth. This is just me kind of ranting about my experience playing it. And yeah, that's about it. I really enjoyed, I want to give a shout out to Resonant Arc. Those beautiful bastards, Mike and Kaysen. They do a good job of covering games, and they have a series on FF16, so go and check them out. And then also Synthetic Man, kind of the other side of the coin. Very irreverent, but if you have any copes about the game he covers, you'll be disabused of them. So I really like him as well. So go check them out. I'll link them below. As you can probably tell, or maybe not, I didn't really have a plan to make a video about this, but seeing some of the reception, the mixed reception of the game, I thought I'd throw my hat in the ring. So just a little bit of background for me. I'm 38. FF7 is the OG FF7 is my favorite FF. Played it when I was 12, which is a great age to play a great game. It's like you're old enough to be able to play it and follow the plot, but young enough to where you're not cynical and like, oh, you know about like foreshadowing and like all the plot tricks and stuff like that. You're just absorbing it at face value. You're like the ideal audience, that kind of great innocence, right? So yeah, just like a little bit of background so you know where I'm coming from. Like, I'm going to be critiquing this game, but critiquing a Final Fantasy is like critiquing a Miyazaki film. They're kind of in their own category, so the bar is very high. They're all like, I'm not questioning how great this game is, blah, blah, blah. It definitely deserves the title, Final Fantasy, given the production value and the, orchestration, the soundtrack, they spared no expense, obviously. But within that category, so I'm critiquing it as an FF, not compared to every other game out there on the marketplace. Not as much, anyway, only by proxy, but specifically in the FF category, in my opinion. So just like where I stand in my FF resume, the OG FF7 is my favorite. It's not only my favorite game ever by far, but it's the best FF, obviously. So for me, I've never played any of the FFs, I've never finished any of the FFs, including 6 and before. Not for any particular reason, just life gets in the way, playing other games. Hell, new FFs are coming out throughout my life, FF8, all that. And I just I get caught up in the modern wave, and I don't revisit the old games as much as I maybe would like. So for me, Final Fantasy Tactics is number 2, FF8 number 3, 7 Remake number 4, 10 number 5, 9 number 6, 13 number 7, 12 number 8, 16 is number 9 for me. Final Fantasy Origins is number 10 for me, and FF15 is number 11 for me. And I'll unpack some of this just briefly. Let's see, I'll mention some of these later, But maybe one of the most egregious things is putting 13 ahead of 12. That might give some of y'all a stroke, and I wouldn't blame you at first glance. For me, 12's battle system was just incredible, but the plot, it was very one note. Like, it was I like the subdued fantasy, but it just it grated on my nerves after a while. Like, it felt like the scope was very narrow in that game. And I like to breathe a bit more in the plot. I mean, I could do a whole video on that, but I'll just kind of leave it there. So you might say FF13's plot was, I haven't replayed 13, so I barely remember it. But even so, I remember having a good experience with it, nonetheless. I have replayed 12 recently, so it's more fresh. But even upon the replay, I just it was a kind of a slog. So I just want to unpack that. As far as 7 Remake being so high, in a world of frequent reboots and remakes, they knocked that one out of the park. I think it's proven that it's not easy to do a remake well, and the FF7 remake is FF7 is like the Mona Lisa to me. So if you're repainting the Mona Lisa, you better be damn careful. And even with that very high, the highest of high bars, they did a really great job, and I'm excited for all the other installments coming soon. Okay, Final Fantasy Origin. I gotta just say it. Chaos memes aside, terrible campy plot aside, whatever, the battle system in that game is just incredible. It's one of the best battle systems of any FF, which is mixed with the worst story of all the FFs, maybe. Ironically, though, Origins has kind of a really good ending. So they kind of threw out some of they threw in some good story at the last minute, and it's like, whoa, I didn't expect decent story from this game. It just kind of takes you off guard, you know? Overall, it's kind of like the oddball of the group, definitely. But that doesn't mean it was not a terrible game. Oh, no. Chaos, I get it, but it was a decent game, in my opinion. Anyway, that's kind of my resume, so you know kind of where I'm coming from. So let's get into just FF16. Played the demo. I already had it pre-ordered before the demo. I always do it. If it says if it's a mainline Final Fantasy, of course, I'm gonna pre-order it, for better and for worse, as we'll see. Honestly. Again, the graphics, soundtrack, motion capture, it's all top notch. It's all we're talking about a different category. When I'm going to critique it, it's within the category of acknowledging its obvious standout qualities. So what I want to say about this is that this game is it's like an entree made of the highest of high quality ingredients, made by a master chef. But while you're eating it, you're thinking, I should have just gotten a cheeseburger. That's exactly what I felt playing this game. It's obvious, the production value. And yet, this game frustrated me over and over again. And I asked myself, maybe they had people play the game to find graphical bugs, or bugs in the enemy AI, or bugs in the motion capture, or whatever. But does anyone play it and then critique how it feels to play, the actual experience of playing and sitting down and playing the game, just absorbing all of it, as just a consumer? And I'll get into some examples that that stuck out to me in that kind of vein of frustration. Um, and yeah, like Synthetic Man covered a lot of that in his video critique of it. But I guess I'm going into more like some specific things for me that I noticed while I was playing it. Like for example, the game loop. There's like a main story scene, a small sandbox where you fight stuff. Again, the graphics are top notch, the sound is top notch. You know, it's all very polished. But you fight stuff. You have an epic boss fight, and this game does spectacle really, really well. Even in 2023, where I think I've seen it all, you know, the spectacle of this game really impressed me, and that's not easy to. That's an impressive feat. Anyway, an epic boss scene, an epic boss fight, a closing main story scene, and then a set of side quests opens up. It's all very organized in this pattern. You have like, yeah, again, main story, fight stuff, boss fight, a closing scene, then side quests, and then it repeats. It's extremely organized and extremely insufferable, in my opinion. It's like you're amped. You had this like way over the top DBZ boss fight. You're amped. You want to like see what's next, and then go collect these plants. It just, the stakes get raised. It's like, and then yes, you don't have to do the side quests, but like they're in front of you. There's the green icons. Yes, you can look away. It's like a lose-lose. Like if you don't do the side quests, you'll be wondering what they are, and the green freaking exclamation point everywhere you look, there'll be one. Yeah, you can disrupt your game experience like that, or you can disrupt your game experience by actually doing them because you can't stand that, and it disrupts the momentum and the pace of the plot. Again, the quality of the side quest is mixed, but they're all polished, motion capture, the voice acting is good, whatever. But the way they implemented them and the way it disrupts the main plot is fucking annoying. It's so annoying. And it's like the epitome of Final Fantasy 16 is it gets in its own way all the time. So, what else? I'm looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, just with the side quests, like I didn't mention why FF15 was the worst for me. Well, first, I have a bias towards. Oh, I'll get into that. The point is, like side quests in FF15. Think about the side quests in FF15, right? Well, it's hard not to because the whole fucking game is a game of all side quests, basically. And there are just so many in that game. To me, it's the only FF I put down after a couple hours because I'm like, where do I sign my W-2? Because I'm just doing chores like all the time. I need to get paid for this because I'm just doing all these jobs, right? I need like an hourly wage. It's like FF Contractor Simulator or something. Yeah, it was the only FF that was like unplayable for me, FF15. And you know, God, I'm about to go off because like there's like this this is why I love Synthetic Man. Not like he comes down on like modern gaming a lot, like a lot of the tendencies for like long cutscenes and like kind of Ubisofty open worlds where there's just a lot of BS. Yeah, it's an open world, but like it's just kind of clogged and annoying, you know? There was some of that here, not to that degree, but in that vein, like I don't know what it is about do Western audiences, do they just love, there's like this hard on for open worlds. Oh my God. Is that a mountain in the distance? Did you know in this game you can go to that? Dude, you can spend 30 hours and you're completely free. You can go straight to, yeah, you'll die 100 times. It's not you'll have to, hours of frustration and game overs and all that. But dude, the fact that you can see that mountain and then like explore and go to it in this open world, wow, that's so cool, man. No. Like, I hate when I hear open world, I think bunch of bullshit. So like the other side is those people saying like linear games are hallway simulators. And I think that came out with FF13, right? It was very linear and they called it a hallway simulator. Here's the thing. Would you rather, like, to me, it's about meaning, right? I would rather have a fucking hallway simulator where everything I do furthers the plot or increases my character's power, some meaningful progression, than a fucking open world where I'm wandering aimlessly, doing nothing, trying to figure out how to do the damn thing the hallway simulator would have had me do without wasting my fucking time. And if you think about it, I don't mean to be a smartass here, but like you think you're exploring the open world, right? You think like you're in this world and you're finding something new. No, I hate to disappoint you, but the world has already been coded. There's nothing new you're going to find that hasn't already been coded. Now, I'm stating the obvious. When you find something new, it's not new. An open world to me is it's like just a big hallway. Like, isn't everything a hallway simulator? Or most things, like in terms of action adventure RPG, like Tetris isn't a hallway simulator, or Space Invaders, or puzzle games like that, right? Or like Roller Coaster Tycoon or whatever. But if you're navigating a world, if it's an open world, it's just a big hallway. It's a hallway with extra steps. That's what an open world is. It's a hallway that wastes your time. Better a fucking one-track hallway that unfolds an epic plot rather than the same epic plot but a bunch of time-wasting exploring nonsense of an empty open world. Or worse, a clogged open world like Ubisoft. So that's how I feel about that. And FF15, obviously bearing that perspective in mind, it was just clogged with nonsense. And open world, I'm just wasting time driving these long distances, whatever. I don't know. And like, it's not just FF15, it's like open world games in general, like Ghost of Tsushima. Again, I wanted to like that game, but it became very chore-y. Like, I'm navigating this beautiful world. Wow, it's so amazing. Can I just get on with the damn plot, please? I don't want to follow this fox. I don't want to climb and find secrets. Like, I think it was Hironobu Sakaguchi, the founder, like the OG of FF himself, who said you can either have an open world or you can have a good plot, right? Because if you're dicking around in an open world, you're losing urgency, stakes, all that stuff. You're just bumbling around, So I don't give credence to the term hallway simulator. To me, again, hallway simulator, open worlds are hallway simulators. If you want to take that perspective, they're just they're just bigger hallways because every game is linear. It's been coded, okay? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is with the hard-on for open world and like, oh, I get to do my own thing. You mean your own thing that's been carefully programmed by and limited by a company. Like, you're not discovering anything. I don't know. You get it. So, again, this isn't like a philosophical, organized treatise. This is more of like just me ranting about it. This is not taken to be a strong, well thought out argument. I'm just expressing a perspective. And think about like Detroit Become Human. Have y'all played that? So a lot of people would play that game and be like, this game is dog shit because you're never really playing the game. It's like, it's the most hallway simulator game you could ever play. It's like the opposite, the complete opposite of an open world. It's like a movie game. And yet, every action you took in that game had tremendous consequences. That is what you want. You don't want your game to waste your time. And Detroit Become Human never wastes your time. Whereas like Ghost of Tsushima, FF16, FF15, you're just dicking around a lot. I'm sorry, not 16. You're dicking around for different reasons, but I'm in FF15. But yeah, you know, people are calling 16 a hallway simulator, so I just wanted to rant about that. That was kind of sloppy, but I think you get it at this point. Anyway, on to another thing that, speaking of sloppy, another system that irked me in this game was the blacksmithing system. And it was like really cool concept, but a blunder in execution. Again, I like Blackthorn. He's cool. Voice acting is cool. His side quests were decent. And I love the idea of doing away with the classical loot system and going to your blacksmith to forge cool shit. Instead of finding cool shit, you bring the material to forge the cool shit, which through a conduit who's a character in the plot tied in with the struggle that your character's facing. So it's got this multi-dimensional benefit of having a blacksmith system. So I get it. But god damn, the itemization in this game is dog shit. It's like there's no rewarding items. They're very underwhelming. And that's putting it lightly. I mean, it's embarrassing, honestly. Where are all the cool, like, there was nothing interesting. It's just plus 10, you know, yeah. What they, see, this game, I get so pissed off about these issues, not because they're that bad, which they might be, but because they could have been so much better, right? You have this cool smith character who you can make new items with. That sounds awesome. But then you got to do something with it, right? And continuing, another thing, the progression. Like, am I the only one who, like, I basically ignored ability points the whole game, almost. Like, here and there I'd find a move I like and then pump the first 1,500 points into the move to upgrade it, right? But if you upgrade it again, all it does is make it so you can put it with other icons and customize your moveset. I spent 0 minutes worrying about making my own moveset. And maybe, you know, I'm just the wrong audience for the game. But where's, like, I don't know. I was hoping for, like, some sort of more ability customization rather than just, oh, you can slot it in different places. Like, let's do something else, you know, like add damage over time or, you know, something like that. Yeah, you know, a lot of people don't like the passive upgrades, but give me something, for Christ's sake. It is the most boring progression. Very annoying. And again, annoying because of what it could have been. You have all these, you have the icon, you have the abilities tied in with the lore, which is great. The UI looks good, all that. But just, it's not fleshed out. Just like the blacksmithing. It's a it's got a sexy coating, but there's no meat. It's anemic. It's empty. You know, very frustrating. So that was a rant. Again, like, I know there's a new game plus which might flesh some of this out, but I'm not gonna play, at least not anytime soon, the whole plot again. Like, I guess there maybe some people like are infatuated with this battle system. And again, I like the battle system. I didn't use any of the rings that, like the advance warning or whatever. I don't even know what they are because I never even looked at them the whole game. But I like the parrying, the dodging, the death blows, the combos. Like, again, mechanically, the system felt pretty good. It had a lot of great elements. But when you play with it and you progress through the game, like, you need more than a bone structure. It's a goddamn skeleton of a battle system. Yes, it's a great skeleton, a very sturdy skeleton, but it has no meat. It's got no creativity. Like, it's very one note. It's very dull. Yeah. Yeah, like, so, okay. I want to conclude, and thanks for sticking with me, by the way. I want to conclude by just saying, like, yeah, I'm running my fucking mouth about all this, yapping away. You don't know the games industry, blah, blah, blah. You don't know XYZ. Okay, fine. I'm being harsh, perhaps, but it's games like this that really make me want to make my own game. And I this is a kind of a sloppy segue to saying I'm actually learning Unreal right now, because, like, I feel like I've played enough. I'm 38. I'm a old gamer, so to speak. And yeah, anyone can yap away who's not a game developer. But I want to put my, like, values in the ring. Maybe I am off base. So yeah, I really want to make my own kind of JRPG style game, with, like, what I would like, what I see as good. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a long journey. Got a 9 to 5, got a life, got another YouTube channel. I write jokes. I make some music. I'm juggling a lot, so it's not going to happen for a while. But the countdown has begun. Like, and it's easier to make games than ever. There's a big indie scene. It'll be a long journey, but I really need to put my hat in the ring, I think. And like with music, I'm a harsh critic of music, but I also compose digital music. Not a lot makes me laugh, which is why, and I'm very harsh on comedians and comedy in general. So I write my own jokes, I've done some stand-up. I've had 3 live audiences. Yeah, nothing major, but the point is, like, my modus operandi is be as harsh as you want, but if it really affects you that much, maybe I need to do something about it. Maybe you actually need to, like, shut your trap and actually put a product out there that represents all of what you're trying to say, right? And I mentioned, I'm making a game on the channel in my previous channel update video on this channel. Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. Kind of a first of its kind of videos like this. Let me know what y'all thought in the comments below. I have much more to say about 16 in general, but these are some of the highlights or lowlights. Anyway, have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.